Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
I think we spoke to you last year when season 1 came out and everyone was very excited about it, and now it's come out. How has the last year been for you as a showrunner, you know, seeing all the reactions and then everything in between?
You know, there's things that the writers we share, and when we see something appear in a little comic strip or something like that, you know, people talking about it's a rainy day or something, and it's, you know, someday we'll go outside, but that day is not this day, and hearing little things like that popping up in the culture, it's fun. It's really fun, you know, and we enjoy the fact that people are enjoying the show. Last year was insane with the strikes and all of that, but I mean, I feel like we're, you know, we got the show out as fast as we humanly could, and you know, there was no sort of lollygagging. We were just going hard at work, and the visual effects people would not mind my saying that they were not disappointed in there being strikes because they could keep working, and there was a lot to build in season 2 for the visual effects. That most of them you have no idea are visual effects. Some parts, you know, of course, you know that we didn't build the Digger Void. You know that we didn't build a gigantic, you know, moonscape with silos in it. But there's so much that they do where it's just like, oh, wow, they must have done that. And it's like, not quite, but it's cool.
Do you think some of the themes of the show is kind of reflective of, you know, modern society and things that we're dealing with at the moment? Do you think that's why it's resonated, particularly, you know, post-pandemic, where there's things of, you know, it's kind of heightened a lot of things for a lot of different people?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we were all afraid when the first season came out, or people want to watch something about people who can't go outside, because we just went through that. But I think that the mystery attracts people. I think that the weird, sort of warbled or warped mirror version of our society and societies that we know of in not so distant past. I mean, we always think of the Silo 18 as being somewhat like East Germany in 1983. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like horrible. It was just people lived their lives, but they couldn't do things, and they were afraid of people turning them in, and all that stuff that was, you know, made for a difficult life. And so there's some of that in it, and then there's just, what can you believe? I think that's a big thing in our life now. I mean, Hugh talks about sailing a boat into Havana Harbor and seeing Cuba in a way that he had never grown up with, because he'd only seen it certain ways that, you know, that we see in the West. And it was very striking for him, and that got him into the whole thing. Well, what if you thought it was this, but it turned out to be that, and then it wasn't that, it was something even other, you know? And so I think that's a big part of it. And for me, the big draw is the mystery. What happened? Why are people living in a silo? And then each season has to have its own mystery. In season 1, what happened to George, and in season 2, it's, who is this solo guy played by Steve Zahn? Because there's something a little off. And the unspooling of that, of his story, and finding out the mystery of his life is, it's something we enjoy building too.
As a final question, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the recent anniversary of Speed and Keanu and Sandra and Iain all getting.
I mean, it's hard to believe that someone who looks as young as this would have written that film 30 plus years ago.
Do you think there's a world now where a third one with those two, whether it involve you or not, is something that the world would love to see if they can crack a story for it?
You know, listen, I would say this, and Mark Gordon would agree that you know, Speed 2 did not work, and we were not involved in it. And so Mark and I like to think that's all because of us, you know. But it's also Keanu wasn't in it, and so in one respect, the bar is very low because Speed 2 was not a very good film. On the other hand, it's pretty high because people love the first film. So, you know, if it happens, great. I tell you what, I love those performers, and I think they're magic together, and you know, they would love to do that if it worked.
Yeah. To be fair, Speed 2 did give us that Willem Dafoe performance, which is
it did give the creepy, weird, small little thing, you know. And I used to say, you know, for researching Speed 1, I rode a bus. That guy was on a cruise ship for 2 weeks. That's not fair.
Thank you so much for your time. Wish you all the best with the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Oh yeah, we're doing that.
Doing this, aren't we?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!